AITAH for calling out my sister for letting her anxiety control family trips. I'm 32 and my sister has 3 little kids all under 6. She's married to a great guy who helps out a lot, and my parents live nearby and pitch in as well. I'm married, but we don't have kids yet, though we're trying. We only get together once a year for a week-long family vacation because we live in different cities. Every year these trips end up being stressful and draining. Almost all the time, my parents end up focusing on helping my sister manage her kids and her anxiety, which leaves them no time to relax or enjoy themselves. Any plan for activities gets shut down because the kids can't handle it or it's too much for them. Going out to eat or even leaving the house turns into a nightmare. The kids themselves aren't badly behaved. They're typical kids, sometimes restless but generally sweet. The real problem seems to be my sister. She struggles with anxiety about doing anything outside her comfort zone, and it makes everything tense. Over the years, it's worn me down. I know parents who handle things differently and seem to have a more balanced outlook. Honestly, watching my sister has made me hesitant about having kids myself. The last straw was when my parents offered to pay for a trip abroad to explore our family heritage. Everyone else was excited, but my sister broke down crying, saying we don't understand because we don't have kids. Because of her reaction, the trip is probably off. I want to confront her about how her anxiety and fear are holding the whole family back, but I also feel guilty for lacking empathy. I believe having kids is a meaningful choice, but I don't see why motherhood should come with this kind of victim mindset. Am I the AITAH for feeling this way and wanting to speak up? You're not the AITAH for feeling frustrated. Your sister's anxiety is running the show, and it's turning family trips into stress marathons for everyone. The kids aren't the problem, it's her panic that's stealing the fun. Calling her selfish might just make things worse since anxiety isn't something she chooses. Try being honest but kind. Tell her the trips feel less fun when anxiety rules everything. Maybe suggest smaller, kid-friendly plans or splitting up activities so everyone gets a break. And hey, pack a vacation survival kit with snacks and patience because you'll need it. Family trips should be about memories, not chaos. You can care and still set boundaries. Story 2. AITAH for confronting my boyfriend about his obsessive female friend. I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and over the last year, there's been this woman in his life. Let's call her Emma. At first, I thought having a female friend was normal, but Emma's behavior started crossing every line. She's openly obsessed with him, sending me messages telling me to step aside because she wants him for herself. She flirts shamelessly, even bragging about plans during an upcoming group trip where she hints at wanting more than friendship. I found pictures of them holding hands and hugging, which she shared with me as if daring me to react. Emma constantly asks for rides from him, even though she lives just a few blocks away, and she clings to him in ways that feel way beyond friendship. Sometimes she shows up at his place uninvited, and even my best friend thinks it's creepy. When I tried talking to my boyfriend about this, he brushed it off, calling Emma his closest confidant and advisor, insisting he can't cut her off. It gets worse when he asks Emma about our relationship. She always paints me as controlling and cold, telling him to break up with me. Despite my efforts, gifts, affection, openness, she tells him I'm not good enough. I showed him messages and recordings, but he accused me of making it all up because he thinks I'm just jealous and paranoid. When I pushed further, he got angry and yelled at me, saying I'm the problem for not trusting him and that I'm the one causing drama. I'm stuck feeling disrespected and dismissed, and I don't know if I'm overreacting or if this situation is as toxic as it feels. I love him, but I hate feeling like I'm competing with someone who doesn't even respect boundaries. Am I the AITAH for standing my ground? You're not the AITAH at all. Emma clearly wants your boyfriend, and he's acting blind on purpose, holding hands for safety. Please, she lives 3 blocks away, not hiking Everest. The real problem is your boyfriend ignoring clear boundaries and gaslighting you about proof you literally showed him. Honestly, you deserve better than being in a relationship with 2 people, him and his advisor. Either he sets limits with her or you set limits with him. You're not in the wrong for standing up for yourself. Story 3. AITAH for asking my husband to stay home more because he's a dad now. I'm 26 and my husband is 28. We have 2 little kids, both under 4, and life at home is loud and messy and full of tiny hands always reaching for something or spilling something or crying for no reason at all. My husband works full-time while I stay home with the kids, and I get that he's tired when he gets home. I really do. But when he walks through the door after work, the kids light up like it's the best moment of their lives. They run to him, they shout for him, they cling to him like he's the sun after a long night. They miss him, and honestly, so do I. Lately, though, his friends, who are all single or don't have kids, keep asking him to go out to bars, late poker nights, random gatherings that last until after midnight. I'm not jealous. I'm not one of those wives who checks his phone or tells him who he can talk to. It's not about that. It's just that when he leaves, I'm here, again, holding it all together by myself. The bottles, the baths, the bedtime chaos, the nightmares, the fevers, all of it. And I don't get to clock out. I don't get a break. So the last few times he got invited, I gently said, hey, maybe you can stay home tonight? The kids miss you. I miss you. Not angry. angry, not demanding, just asking. And now suddenly I'm controlling, according to his sister. She texted me to say I'm holding him back and not letting him be himself. His mom gave me this weird quiet stare when I mentioned that his kids need him more than his friends right now, like I'd said something rude. But is it rude to expect a father to want to be there for his own kids? Is that strange? I keep wondering if I'm bitter, if I'm just resenting him because I gave up my own nights out, my own friends, my own freedom, and he didn't. But then again, didn't life change for both of us when we had kids? Isn't that how this is supposed to go? I don't know anymore. I feel like the bad guy for asking him to stay, but when he leaves, I'm the only one left juggling everything while he gets to escape, laugh, relax. And I can't remember the last time I did that. So am I the problem for expecting him to be home more? Or is he the problem for not realizing he already has the most important role to play here? I honestly can't tell anymore. You're not asking him to live chained in the basement. You just want him to be present for the tiny humans he helped make. Newsflash: when you become a dad, poker nights and bar hopping don't exactly stay top priority. His friends might still live in single guy land, but he signed up for dad life the moment those babies arrived. And his sister? She can babysit for a weekend if she thinks he's missing out so much. Honestly, it sounds like you're holding the whole family circus together while he's practicing his old life escape act. Advice? Sit him down and remind him this isn't about freedom. It's about balance. Being a dad isn't something you clock out of, and you deserve your breaks too. Maybe next Friday you go out while he juggles bath time and bedtime meltdowns. Let's see if poker night still sounds so tempting after that. Story 4. AITAH for feeling upset about how my inheritance is being handled? I'm 33 and my parents set up a trust years ago that included their house and some cash, meant to be shared equally between my brother and me. The trust was clear. The assets would be divided equally. Recently, my parents realized they can't live in their current home anymore and want to move somewhere better suited for them. Their plan is for my brother to move into the house in the trust now, while I get cash equal to that house's value to build a new home for them in the future. I immediately felt this wasn't equal at all. They always stress that the division must be fair, but this arrangement leaves me waiting years to receive my inheritance while my brother benefits immediately. My parents work in finance, so they know money now is worth more than money later because of things like inflation and investment opportunities. I explained that my brother can live in the house and even sell his current one, using those proceeds to invest or buy something else, while I have no similar advantage since I can't move into the house they want built. I agreed to dissolve the trust if we could first appraise the house to figure out how much cash I should get, but my brother refused, saying an appraisal was a waste of money and insisting on a lower value for the home that doesn't reflect its true worth. He claims this lower value is fair because selling the house would involve taxes and fees that I'd otherwise have to pay. My parents sided with him, saying that him moving in avoids those costs for us. I get that selling would bring taxes and fees, but I still believe the house is undervalued by at least $150,000. No one else will get an appraisal, so I'm left wondering if the deal is as fair as they say. I'm grateful for whatever I'm given, I really am, but I can't shake the feeling that this isn't equal and that my parents won't admit it. Am I the AITAH for still feeling upset about this? Inheritance isn't just about numbers on paper. It's about fairness in timing and real value. Your brother gets the house now, enjoying it and its benefits, while you're stuck waiting and trusting vague promises. Refusing an appraisal smells like someone trying to steer the ship their way without full transparency. Advice? Insist on that appraisal or consider getting an independent one yourself. Money now versus later isn't equal. Even your finance-savvy parents should know that. And hey, if they want to avoid taxes so badly, maybe your brother can start paying you rent while he's living there. At least then you'll feel like you're not just waiting around for a ghost inheritance. Story 5. AITAH for deciding not to buy a house with my mother anymore? I'm 27 and have lived abroad with my partner for several years. My mother, 65, lives halfway around the world and has had a history of poor financial decisions, like buying and breeding horses she couldn't afford. She prioritized my education above everything else, but was emotionally distant and dismissive of mental health, which left me struggling for years. She's also a high-functioning alcoholic and has been subtly racist toward my partner. Despite all this, she visits nearly every Christmas, often causing tension. Recently, we discussed her retirement plan, which involves selling her parents' house in her home country to help buy a house here. The idea was for her to live with us in a small flat while my partner and I manage the mortgage. At first, everyone agreed, but she insists this must happen within a year because she wants to retire immediately. We're not ready for that timeline, so she's responded with passive-aggressive remarks and the silent treatment. She continues to travel frequently, putting expenses on credit cards and refusing to take any initiative to improve her financial situation, despite despite my offers to help. Given all this, I'm leaning toward pulling out of the house plan because I don't want to be financially tied to someone who repeatedly shows disrespect for money and boundaries. It's hard because I'm her only child, and if I don't do this, she'll have no one. But I also can't sacrifice my peace and future for her ongoing behavior. Am I the Ida for no longer wanting to buy a house with my mother? Mixing family and finances is like mixing oil and water. Sometimes it explodes. Your mom's history screams red flags, and rushing into a mortgage with her sounds like signing up for chaos on a 30-year plan. Setting boundaries isn't betrayal, it's self-preservation. Suggest renting longer and keeping the peace. And hey, maybe gift her a travel brochure titled Retirement without ruining everyone else. Your sanity is worth more than a forced family housing sitcom. Before we move on to the next story, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, tell us your favorite story in the comments. And if you have your own story to share, let us know down there too. Story 6. Aita for sorting through my ex-roommate's stuff after she moved out. A couple of years ago, my ex-roommate moved in with me and my partner in our small one-bedroom apartment. Things were okay at first until she quit her job without having another lined up. Since she was still in school, I told her she could pay rent once she found a job because I didn't want her to end up homeless or drowning in debt. Later on, she got a job but never told me or my partner. I only found out when I mentioned that we weren't making enough money to cover rent and utilities. She promised she'd scrape together enough money to pay her share, and I believed her. She paid me $150 when the rent was $200, so I agreed to the $50 discount given her situation, but my partner was really annoyed by this irregular payment. Over time, her payments became more consistent, and eventually, she told us she would move out by June 1st. When June 1st came, her belongings were still all over our living room, which doubled as her makeshift bedroom. My partner had to remind her multiple times to get her things. When she finally moved out, she left behind a bed frame, tattoo needles and ink, some family photos, shoes, and a pile of miscellaneous junk. We gave her 3 weeks to collect her stuff with a warning that anything left after would be kept or disposed of. The 3 weeks passed, and she never came to pick anything up. Now, I'm sorting through her things to figure out what to donate or throw away, but I'm wondering if I'm the Ida for planning to sell or donate her stuff without telling her. She had her share of bad roommate behavior, but that's another story. Boundaries. Patience. Enough. If she vanished, left junk, and ghosted her stuff, it's not your problem anymore. Document everything. Take photos. Maybe text one last, "Hey, claim your stuff or it's gone" message. Then toss, donate, sell, freeing your space and sanity. Roommate roulette. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you keep the junk. Story 7. AITAH for choosing to sleep at my boyfriend's place more than my own during summer break. I'm 20 and currently home from college for the summer. While I'm back, I stay with my parents and siblings in a pretty small house. I've been dating my boyfriend for nearly 2 years. He's 23 and lives alone. Most nights, I prefer to stay at his place because at my family's house, everyone goes to bed around 8 p.m. and the space is so tight that I basically have to be silent after that time. My boyfriend and I tend to stay up until midnight or 1 a.m. playing games, cooking, and hanging out, which isn't really possible at my parents' house. Lately, I've noticed my mom making passive-aggressive comments whenever I mention I'm spending the night at my boyfriend's instead of home. It's clear she's annoyed by it, but honestly, it's more comfortable and fun at his place. Am I the asshole for not spending more nights at home? Your home feels like a library after 8 p.m. His place is your playground. You're young, enjoy the late nights without tiptoeing. Tell mom you're just recharging your social battery before family mode. Win-win. Also, maybe teach the family some game skills. They might want in on the fun. Story 8. Aita for getting upset with my friend who insists I'm autistic. I'm 16 and identify as non-binary. I've been friends with a guy, let's call him Evan, for about 2 years. Evan is autistic himself and has always been very straightforward, sometimes blunt. Over time, he became convinced that I'm autistic too and even managed to convince me at one point. I never minded it much since he was just being honest in his way, but lately it's been wearing on me. Recently, I had a medical appointment to get an official diagnosis. My doctor told me and my mom that I probably have generalized anxiety and sensory issues but likely not autism. When I shared this with friends online, nobody really reacted much except Evan. He immediately insisted the doctor was wrong because, in his view, we share a lot of symptoms. I think it's because we spend a lot of time together and personalities tend to influence each other. We've been arguing about this a lot lately, and I'm wondering if I'm being too harsh on him for not letting it go. Am I the Ida here? Space, patience, clarity. Evan's stuck on a guess. You got facts. Remind him gently your brain's your business. Boundaries keep friendships alive. Humor helps. I'm my own mystery. No spoilers, please. Keep focus on feelings, not diagnoses. Friendship. Story 9. Aita for telling my friend to dump her awful boyfriend and then stepping away when she wouldn't listen. I've got this friend, let's call her Lily, who has always been kind of fragile when it comes to relationships. She's had a rough past, even trying to end her life twice back in middle school over toxic boyfriends. Now that we're in high school, I hoped she'd learn something, but here we are again. She started dating this guy she didn't even like at first. He basically love-bombed her straight into the relationship, buying her expensive gifts like a $100 hoodie before they'd even properly spoken. After that, she convinced herself she liked him. But once they were official, the real him came out. He would yell at her for things that made no sense, like not socializing at a banquet where she literally knew no one while he hung out with his friends. Then he'd apologize the next day, and she'd forgive him and claim, all guys are like this, even though none of the other boyfriends in our friend group act this way. My friend Jane and I kept telling her she deserved better and that she should break up with him. But every time, she'd wave us off with he's just upset or it's not that bad. Then came the big blow. We found out he was cheating on her with some old fling who literally used him for homework. Even that girl admitted it. When Lily found out, she cried, naturally, but instead of kicking him to the curb, she said she had a plan. She stayed with him. And shocker, he cheated again with the same girl. Jane and I told her again to drop him, but she didn't listen. During a hangout, when another friend finally asked why she hadn't dumped him, she admitted, 5 minutes after trash-talking him, I still like him. It was exhausting. Every time she complained and we agreed with her, she'd get quiet and sad like we were the bad guys. Then, she finally said she was going to break up with him. We were all relieved, cheering her on. But guess what? She backed out again. Jane and I, along with another friend, told her that staying with him was only hurting her more. But suddenly another girl in our group kicked her out of the chat and told us to shut up because Lily was panicking. I thought, if she's panicking because we're right, maybe she shouldn't be in a relationship at all if she's not ready for real decisions. After that, I just gave up. I told them I was done giving advice she didn't respect. What's the point if she never listens? So am I the AITAH for stepping away after all this? Oh, the classic, my boyfriend's a disaster, but I can fix him saga. Honestly, at this point, Lily's dating life feels like binge-watching a bad reality show. You keep hoping she'll vote him off the island. But nope, new drama every episode. Here's the deal. You can toss life preservers, megaphones, even flashing neon signs that say dump him. But if she wants to keep sinking on the SS toxic, you gotta let her paddle. My advice? Smile, sip your drink, and say, love that for you, while mentally checking out. You're not her therapist, and definitely not her relationship stunt double. Save your energy for people who actually want to be rescued, or at least want a better season finale. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell us your favorite story in the comments, and feel free to share your own story too.